Hey guys, what is up? Welcome to Masterclass number 2 of your 3-part Meal Prep Express Masterclass series. I am so excited, just getting everything set up here, making sure we're rocking and rolling and ready to go. Awesome. Beautiful. How are you guys all doing today? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you guys are doing. Before we get rocking and rolling on today's training, guys, super excited. Today's going to be all about how to prep your kitchen for meal prep success. How to prep your kitchen and organize it and declutter it and just make it so that it basically just becomes a super efficient meal prepping machine. That's what we want for our masterclass. That's what we want for our kitchen today, guys, and that's what we're going to chat about. All about how to do in today's masterclass, guys. So first of all, what we want to do, guys, before we start this guy off today is I want, if you're here live, say hey in the comments below and let me know what your biggest takeaway was from masterclass number 1. I see 4 beautiful lovelies on here with me, so say hey in the comments below and let me know. Because we're going to get into it today, guys. But first of all, I want to know what the most important takeaway was for you from the first masterclass. Okay, so pop that down in the comments below, and I'll circle back to those in just a second. Another thing that I really want to chat with you guys about before we get going here is actually, I'm just going to share my screen with you right now. Is that you're for this masterclass, guys, you're going to want to make sure that you have the Meal Prep Express bonus guide downloaded. So this is a guide with done for you meal prep recipes and the accompanying grocery list that I created for you and gifted to you during the first masterclass. So if you don't have that, please go to this link right here and make sure that you have that downloaded and at least up on your screen. And you're going to want to be able to look at that because we're going to use it during today's masterclass series. Okay, so this is going to be really huge, so you want to make sure you have that. And guys, before we get into today's training as well, so you want to make sure to download your free guide here. And second of all, I want to chat about the giveaway. The giveaway. So I'm going to be giving away a $25 Amazon gift card. And to be entered to win this Amazon gift card, what you need to do is, first of all, comment down below and let me know you're here live because I'm going to be taking down everyone's names who show up here live. And if you show up here live, you're going to be entered to win. Now, guys, today I'm going to be giving you a really actionable, quick and easy piece of meal prep homework to do before our final live masterclass on Thursday. And if you want to be entered to win this gift card twice, if you want to double your chances of winning it, all you need to do is when I give you that piece of homework at the end of today's masterclass series, all you need to do is post in the private Facebook group that you have done the piece of meal prep homework and you will be entered to win a second time. So if you want to double those chances, you want to make sure that you not only tune in live today or at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time when I do this masterclass again. If you tune in live then, that's great as well. And when you do that, you'll be entered to win 2 times as long as you show up live, and as long as you do the piece of homework. It's really simple, guys. Kitty, what's up, girl? Kitty says, I think what I got out of last week was that I need to organize time to succeed. Yes. It's so important, guys. It's one of the things that is the most challenging to begin with, is even setting aside the time to invest in learning processes and strategies that will save us more time in the long run. But at the beginning, it can seem like, oh, like I don't have time to do that, Marlise. I could show up to the masterclass for the first day, but then at the same time, I don't know if I have time to do that. But what I'm and I Kitty, I love that you reflected that, girl. It's such a beautiful lesson and takeaway was that in order for us to save time and energy and money and learn how to meal prep the right way in the long run, we just need to invest a little bit upfront first. Invest some time in ourselves to learn how to do that. Otherwise, we're always going to be stuck on that same, I call it like the meal prep or the cooking hamster wheel, day after day after day, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. The problem is if we don't, that's like the definition of insanity, right? If we do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. So, Kitty, just by being here, girl, and if anyone else is on here live as well, make sure you post a comment in the Facebook group chat below if you're here live because I want to enter you for a chance to win this gift card. So, yes, and of course, the link on the screen right now for those of you just tuning in is where you're going to be downloading your free done for you meal prep recipes and grocery list because we are going to be using those during today's live masterclass. So, just a few little notes before we kind of get into it today, guys. Right. So the significance of today's masterclass, I always have notes, guys. I don't want to miss anything. I always want to make sure you get the most amount of value from our trainings. So I always have notes listed out just so I don't miss anything. The biggest takeaway that I'm going to really hit home on today, let's actually go back, is that you can have the best meal prep strategy in place, like cooking strategy. You can have everything lined up. You can have everything just streamlined and perfect for your actual like cooking strategy. But if your kitchen isn't set up and optimized for shopping and meal prep success, it's not going to matter because everything is going to slow down. Do you remember on the first masterclass? And if you haven't watched it yet, make sure you do. Make sure you go back and even just skim through it because we talked remember on the first masterclass, we talked about your meal prep machine as a car, right? And what we're talking about today is the tires of the car, of your meal prep machine, the foundation. So if you want to meal prep really quickly, really easily, really efficiently, really fast, if the tires, the foundation of your meal prep machine is broken or flat or not firing on all cylinders, it doesn't matter how good your cooking strategy is. It doesn't matter how nice the body of your car is. It's not going to move very quickly, or if at all, because it doesn't have any tires, right? So, this is all about building the foundation of your optimized, quick and easy meal prep machine, one that you can rely on week after week after week, and that will allow you to meal prep an entire week of healthy meals in 2 hours or less. This is the first step, okay? So, let's get right into it, guys. If you are here with me live, make sure you mention in the comments below that you are here because I want to enter you to win that gift card. And before we get started, I'm just going to take this link off because you guys can, if you're watching the replay, make sure to download that. If you're here live, you already know that you need to have it downloaded. Before we get started, you want to have your grocery list and your meal prep inventory sheet and your need to buy list printed off. Just 1 second. Love, can you hand me that? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, guys. I had my booklet, but it just wasn't close to me, so I had to get my loving fiance to hand it to me. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your grocery list and your recipes and everything printed out, which is the link I shared with you just a moment ago. And then you want to have your kitchen inventory list and your need to buy list printed off. And that's in your meal prep guidebook, your workbook that accompanies this masterclass. So make sure you have that as well, because we're going to be using them. And if you're doing this with me live, this is going to be really powerful, guys. All right. So I'll hop on back over. So you want to make sure you have those things printed off, or at the very least have them up on your screen next to you so that you can reference those. Okay. And of course, as always, guys, this masterclass will be fun and interactive. I'm up here to teach you, but I'm not up here to just talk at you. If you have any questions, please let me know during the masterclass. Or if you have a longer question, I'm going to be opening up the floor to live question and answer session at the end. So any meal prep questions you have, we can always discuss them more in depth at the end as well. All right, guys, let's get into it. So let me know if this sounds familiar. You've decided to meal prep, and now you're standing in your kitchen, staring blankly into your fridge and cupboards, struggling with to come up with ideas on what to make and thinking to yourself, what do I even want today? What do I have the ingredients for? What will be the quickest and easiest thing for me to make? And this is it, guys. Let me know in the comments below if this resonates with you and sounds familiar to you, because this right here is indicative of the biggest issue so many people have with their meal prep. And that is that they don't. Kitty's like, yes. Yeah, girl, we're just like, we're in it right now. This is the real life of meal prep. Like I said, I'm going to cut the fluff out, guys, and just give you the good stuff, because we're talking about not just like little strategies and like, oh, it'd be really cool if I did this. No, I'm going to give you a step-by-step strategy today on how to organize and optimize your kitchen for shopping and meal prep success. But that, if you're staring in your cupboards, trying to come up with what to make on a nightly or even like hourly basis, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, just looking inside, being like, oh man, because I know we live in that pandemic life right now for some of us. So if this is true for you, this means that your kitchen is not optimized for meal prep success. And what I mean by that is you don't have a relationship yet with your kitchen. It's not organized. You don't know what recipes are in it. You don't know, or you don't know what ingredients are in your fridge, freezer, in pantry. You don't have a system to organize and make sure that the oldest ingredients get used first. And this can cost us, guys. This can cost us a lot of time, because we're constantly looking for ingredients that we may or may not have in our pantry, trying to and hoping, right? I love how we like stare in the fridge and the cupboards. It's like we're hoping for the ingredients to just talk to us. And that is not true. It's not going to happen, right? So let's take charge here and actually make a difference in our meal prepping right now. So, what we're going to do and we're going to start with is, of course, how to prep your kitchen for shopping and meal prep success. This is the best place to start, guys, as I mentioned. And of course, before we even do anything, right, guys, this strategy will only work if you do the work. So if you are sitting there, everything is a choice. Everything. The fact that you signed up for this masterclass series means you are ready to take meal prep action. And we all know from me going on about it that meal prep action equals meal prep success, right? So if you don't print off or have your need to buy grocery list and your grocery list and your kitchen inventory sheet with you, if you don't have those things with you or have them accessible, this isn't going to work. So let's start off and just be really honest with each other. If you are here to do the work, if you are here to get the results, then make sure you have the resources that I have provided for you available to you as we go through this. And if you're watching the replay, make sure you have them up on your screen as well. I have provided you all the tools and strategies you need for meal prep success up to this point. It's up to you to use them, right? So just want to lay that down, guys. I know, a little tough love, but I want you to get meal prep results. I want you to be able to do this quickly and easily. So, of course, step one is to print off your kitchen inventory and need to buy grocery list. Okay, and if you haven't done that, as long as you have the digital copies up, that's fine. Totally cool. Okay. Step number, I should say step number two. I really need to learn how to count, guys. I know. Is to pull everything out. So, we're going to talk about optimizing and organizing your kitchen pantry specifically today, okay? This method is really, really powerful because it's quick and it's easy and it gets rid of the whole, like, I don't know if you've tried to declutter and organize before, but if you have, it can be really overwhelming. You like pull everything out and you're just staring at this big pile of stuff, like, what do I even do? So the first thing you want to do when organizing your kitchen pantry is to pull everything out. And when I say everything, I mean everything. I want all the spice jars out. I want all the canned goods out. I want pasta, rice, everything you have in your pantry. that is not in your fridge and freezer. So everything, cereals, oats, grains, bring it all out, okay? Because what can happen is if we don't do this, and we all kind of do this, right? We're like, we don't really want to make a mess when we're decluttering because it seems counterproductive. So we'll just like take a couple things out, look inside and try and organize them, and then do the next shelf and the next shelf. But what can happen is if we do that and don't do everything at the same time, and we try and do little sections at once, like or over a couple of days or a couple of weeks, by the time you get done of the last section, very often what happens is the first section you organized is already messy. Okay, that's the first thing. So we want to make sure we do this all at the same time, guys. And what the strategy I'm going to give you today, it's going to literally take you less than 30 minutes for like a really big pantry, or even less time if you have a smaller pantry like myself. So what we're going to do is pull everything out. The second reason this is really powerful is because we want to see everything you have out in one place. Because when we fill out our kitchen inventory, right? When we fill out our kitchen inventory list, and this is going to be the sheet where we list everything in our kitchen down, what we have in our pantry. We don't want to be going through one section at a time only to realize it could be like, oh, okay, like I only have like a little bit of garlic powder left. I need to go to the store and buy some. But maybe in another section of your pantry, shoved in the back is another thing of garlic powder. But if you don't pull everything out at the same time, you won't know. Right? So it's really important. I know, guys, it seems like it's going to create a lot of mess and a lot of clutter, but I promise you, if you follow this strategy, it is totally worth the time investment. Okay. So you want to pull everything out first. And I learned this from Marie Kondo, right? If you've ever seen her Netflix series or read her books, like The Magical Art of Tidying Up, it is basically more often than not, we think we have less than we have. But when we pull everything out and see this big pile of stuff together, we actually get a real representation of what is actually going on in our kitchen pantry. So that's step number 2. We're just gonna everything's gonna move back a little bit here, guys. We have 2 step number 1s. That's all right. Step number 2 is to declutter. So I'm gonna give you a quick and easy strategy on how to do this. What you're gonna do is create 2 piles, well, 3 actually. You're going to create one pile of keep items from your pantry, okay? And that's what you're going to write on this list, your kitchen inventory list. You can also, if you don't have printer ink or you don't want to print this off, literally just take a piece of paper, write the heading kitchen inventory list, and just put the 6 headings and then just fill it in yourself. It's all good on a piece of paper. Whatever works for you, or you can type it up on your computer. It's totally fine. Okay, so what you're going to do first is create one pile for things you want to keep. You're like, yes, we eat this, okay, on a regular basis. Remember, guys, filling up our kitchen with stuff we don't even use is not going to help anybody. And it's just going to clutter up our kitchen and take up space from ingredients that we could fill it up with that we actually want to, eat. So that's pile number 1. Pile number 2 is anything that you know that you haven't eaten over the past couple of months and is good to donate. So there's I consider donation like 2 different avenues. So the first avenue that you can explore is, of course, like a food bank, right? And if you're doing donations to a food bank, what you want to look at is making sure that nothing is expired, out of date, dented, if it's a can, things like that. All really, really self-evident things, right? We just want to use our common sense there. But for anything that you have tried, let's say you bought like a really cool thing of like barbecue sauce and you were like, this is going to be great. And you ate it once and you were like, hard pass. I don't want to eat that. You can't really take that to the donation bank because it's already been opened. But this is where I like to explore the second avenue, especially during a time like we're in the pandemic now and people are at home a lot more and they're cooking a lot more. And it is that if you know a friend, a family member, a coworker, a person that is in your building, you can just message them and be like, hey, do you want this? I tried it once, it wasn't for me. And then you can donate to them. And because they know you, they're not going to mind that it was open and tried once, right? It's better than throwing it in the trash. But that brings us to our third thing, which is third option, third pile. And that is throwing stuff out. Guys, if it is leaking, stinky, out of date, like you're never going to use it again, it's like The spices in the bag have hardened into congealed blobs, like, throw it in the trash. You're not gonna use it. And I know this can feel a little bit disheartening because you're like, "Oh, I don't wanna throw out food." But guys, listen to me. If it's just gonna sit in your pantry and not get used anyway, it's taking up space, like, in your pantry and just cluttering things up and getting in the way of you filling that your pantry with ingredients you'll actually wanna use. Okay? So it's really, really important that we do that for step number 2. So just to reiterate and recap, the 3 piles you wanna make when you pull everything out are keep, the stuff you wanna keep, so that's the stuff you're gonna write down on your kitchen inventory sheet. The second pile is donation, either a donation to a food bank or a donation to a friend or family member, coworker, for things that have been opened but, like, are perfectly good, you just aren't gonna use it. And the third pile is for things to just be tossed out because we don't need things that are expired, leaking, out of date, stinky, smelly, or any of those things cluttering up our beautiful meal prep kitchen anymore. Okay? Okay. Do you guys have any questions on that before we move on to step number technically 4, but it'll say 3 up here? And if you have any questions at all, guys, just post them in the comments and I'll get to them, okay? Sweet. And a little bit of water before we get on to step number 4. Cool. All right. Now, guys, here's where the magic happens. Okay. When you take the time, now this is a perfect example of when you take the time a little bit upfront, it pays off so much. So now what you're going to do is you have 3 piles, right? You have your donate pile, which is going to go. You have your toss out pile, which is in the garbage, but then you're left with this beautiful magical pile of ingredients. And you, after you've listed them all on your kitchen inventory sheet, what you're going to do is take the grocery list that I provided to you in your free resource right here, and you are going to start crossing it off. So if you look on the grocery list and you see that you need romaine lettuce, or not romaine lettuce, that's on your pantry. A better example is if you need peanut butter. If you have peanut butter in your pantry and you go to the grocery list that's listed here, and you see, oh, I need peanut butter. I need peanut butter. It's on my list. Well, what you can do is then say, oh, you can go to the grocery list and say, oh, I already have peanut butter and cross it off your grocery list. And see, guys, then whenever you go and if you have anything left over on your grocery list that isn't crossed off from your inventory sheet, you write it on your need to buy later list. Or you can just keep your grocery list with everything that's not crossed off and you don't have to transfer it over. It's up to you. Now, guys, do you see? Put in the comments below. No, I did this month, last month. Actually, great, Kitty. That's amazing, girl. Yeah. So, do you see how much time this is going to save you now? Do you see how powerful this can be now when you actually know what's in your kitchen and you have it organized and optimized for meal prep success? What that means is you organize your pantry in such a way where you know exactly what's in it. So as soon as I give you a grocery list, you can go in, you can see what's on your inventory sheet, you know exactly what you have, and you can then just start crossing things off that grocery list and immediately go to the store. It's so simple. But the alternative, right, guys, if we're sitting there and thinking, Kitty's like, definitely, yeah, girl, 100%. Um, if we don't do this, let's look at the alternative. Well, let's say I give you the grocery list, which I have done. I hate shopping, so this is great, Kitty. Amazing, girl. Now, I want you to think about the alternative, right? So, Kitty, I want you to let me know in the comments below if you didn't have a system in place like this, or anyone else who's tuning in live, please let me know. If you didn't have this system in place, what would happen? What would happen right now? What is the alternative to doing this? Amazing. Yeah. The alternative to this would be you, again, going back to our, like, staring into our cupboards and our fridge sort of idea, right? We don't know what we have, so we just stare and hope that something jumps out at us. But as soon as we know what we have, our brain is like a machine. So it's I always like to think of our brain as like Google spacebar, like like or the search bar. If you ever notice when you think about something, your brain starts to like percolate on it, even if you're not necessarily putting a lot of effort into it. So if you know what's in your kitchen, you open the cupboard and you see something and you know what else is in your pantry as well, your brain immediately starts to think, "Oh, yes, I know exactly what I'm going to make tonight," because it already has an idea of what's going on. Kitty says, "I would buy the same old stuff and then be upset when I didn't have what I needed to cook." Exactly, girl. Yes, exactly. And actually, to go off of Kitty's point right now, the step coming on to step number 5 is to organize for maximum efficiency. So now it's time, guys, that I've given you the strategy on how to pull everything out, to organize it into your 3 piles, right? Keep, throw out, and donate. I'm going to teach you and to actually take inventory of what you have. I'm going to show you this is an exact replica of my own pantry. Okay, this is exactly how I organize mine. And so when you start to also organize your pantry into sections, now we're going to take it to the next level because you can just throw everything back. You can just be like, okay, cool, I know what's in there, throw everything back. But here's where that becomes a problem, guys. That becomes a problem when things aren't organized efficiently and they're not organized in like a fashion that is easy for your brain to know where things are. A lot of the time we tend to revert back to our old habits. Our pantry gets filled with things we don't use, things get old and expired, they get shoved to the back, we forget we have them, and we also start to buy duplicates. Or we start to go to the grocery store for things we already have. So either we're wasting time or we're wasting money. And with this strategy, and when you organize your pantry into sections like this, if at all possible, even if you have a pantry that has one shelf, like let's just go super minimalist here. Because one of the group members in the group the other day was saying, "Oh, my kitchen is so tiny. That's my biggest problem with meal prepping. My kitchen's so tiny." Let's say, excuse me, let's say your pantry is literally one shelf. This still works. Put canned goods on one side, put pastas and grains on the other side, like separate things out so you know what you have. Okay? So here's an example of my own pantry. So I like to have pastas and grains in one section, baking goods in one section, snacks. Now, I actually like to organize my pantry also, like, if I'm having snacks and I don't wanna, like, be getting into them all the time because I am like a snack monster, I'll put them way at the top, so it's harder for me to get to. So you can do that. Herbs and spices, oils and flavorings. And guys, you can organize your pantry in any way you like. I'm such a visual person. I don't know about you, but I find it so much easier when I have like an example to go off of, and then I can then, boom, translate that into my own kitchen. And then I have canned goods, and what I also have, guys, and this can be really, really helpful, especially when saving time meal prepping every day, is to have a use daily section. So let's say, I know these are cans of tuna, right? These are cans of tuna, and then I have peanut butter. Well, technically, my peanut butter could go up in my baking section or my snack section, and my tuna can go over here in the canned goods section. But I like to have an entire shelf or a section of a shelf that's really easily accessible, dedicated to items I use every day. So let's say I know I'm going to meal prep this week and I know I'm definitely going to be using a lot of peanut butter and a lot of tuna. Just have it there. Super easy. And you can also alternate what you put in your use daily section based on what you're making for your meal prep that week. So let's say you know you're going to be making like tuna fish sandwiches and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Well, then put those items in your use daily section because you know you're going to be using them a lot that week. And it's going to be so much easier to get to them. And you won't have to, for instance, dig through the canned goods section to get the tuna or try and remember which section you put the peanut butter in. Does that make sense? Put a yes or a no in the chat box. Yeah. Cool. Beautiful, guys. And of course, if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the chat box below, or you can, if you're watching the replay, make sure to ask me any questions you need to in the chat box as well. So, of course, guys, this is important. Remember, this is going to save you so much time and money because you're not going to be scrambling around trying to find ingredients whenever you meal prep or when you cook. I put everything, Kitty says she puts everything in boxes. A label on the end shows what's in it, and then I just pull the box forward when I need it and don't have to take out 6 cans to get one. Kitty, that's beautiful, girl. Yes, that's excellent. So, like, taking this system and customizing it to what works for you. Yes, it does make sense to organize. Beautiful, Kitty. Yes, great. And it does, guys. Like, it makes so much sense to organize, but so often we get so into, like, we would just wanna meal prep. We just wanna cook. Like, "Well, just let me cook." But if you don't know what's in your kitchen and you don't build that solid meal prep foundation for your machine, your meal prep machine, right, your car, if the tires are flat, you can have the best cooking strategy in the world, but if you don't know what's in your kitchen and it's not set up properly, what's gonna happen, right? And of course, you're not gonna be making another trip to the grocery store to buy ingredients that you thought you already had. You're not gonna be buying duplicates and spending extra money on ingredients because you didn't realize you already had them. It'll allow you to cook faster because you know exactly where everything is in your kitchen, and you'll have a place to start on coming up with meals because you know exactly what ingredients you have. AKA, you'll cook with confidence, knowing exactly what you need because you know exactly what you need, and you'll know you'll have exactly what you need and where to find it. But of course, guys, you know the dealio. You know the deal. This strategy will only work if you do the work. So if you decide to watch this training and not take action, you're really telling me and telling yourself, more importantly, that you're not wanting to save time and money on your meal prep. And I know that was a big reason you signed up. And because you don't want to be spending hours and hours and hours cooking anymore. You're done with that life. I get that. So this is going to help you. This is your first step in helping to shave off 3 to 4 hours of cooking every single week. Because remember, during masterclass number 1, we talked about kitchen setup time and thinking of what to make. Those were almost 30 minutes in total when you combine them together. So if you're going to take the time to actually set up your kitchen properly, you're going to be taking away the need to do that every single day, or when you're meal prepping at the very least. When you're getting set up to meal prep, you won't need to set up your kitchen and organize and declutter and try and figure out what you have on hand anymore. And that's going to save you so many hours per week. I'm super excited, guys, to share this training with you. And of course, as we chatted about at the beginning of the masterclass, but I want to bring up again now, in order for you to be entered to win the $25 Amazon gift card, you need to show up either today live or today live, either during this masterclass or the second live masterclass. I'm going to be doing at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And you need to comment below and let me know you are here tuning in live. So that's going to be able to get you into enter one time. But if you are excited to get double your chances of winning the gift card, what you're going to want to do is in the Facebook group, you're going to want to show me a picture of your pantry, fully organized, showing that you've done the work, showing that you've filled out your meal prep inventory sheet. And when you do that, you will get a second entry that will double your chances to win the gift card. And I will be announcing the winner of the gift card at the beginning of the final live masterclass on day 3. So if you have any questions, guys, please pop them in the chat box and the comment box below and let me know, because this is your time. I'm opening up the floor to any and all meal prep questions you have. So be sure to let me know if you have any. And of course, if you are watching the replay, please post your comments in the chat box below and let me know as well, because I will be happy to answer them. And of course, I'm going live again at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time if that time works better for you. So you can always ask your questions then as well. All right, guys. I'll just wait another minute here to see if anyone has any questions before I sign off. But like I said, I'm going to be back at 5 so we can hang out again and chat about all things kitchen organization and meal prep then as well. Cool. I think we're good, guys. I'm not seeing any questions come in. So thank you so much for tuning in live today. And I will see you again at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tonight. And like I said, if you're watching the replay and you have any questions, please pop them in the chat box below. And Kitty says she's excited. Thank you so. Oh, girl, you are so welcome. I'm so excited to be here, Kitty. Thank you so much, girl. And she's looking forward to class number 3, as am I. The knowledge bombs that are going to be dropped during. If you thought this was a good one, number 3 is going to be taking it to the next level. All right, guys. I will see you tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your afternoon. All right, guys.